Hello, I'm Matt Guff from House.com, and this is a brand new deck to the 2020 lineup from Ride. It's called the Superpig. The 2020 Ride Superpig is a Warpig on steroids. This is an all-mountain freestyle deck that has a volume shift story. It's a little bit shorter, quite a bit wider, and it's for intermediate to advanced level riders. And anyone who has big feet can fall in love with it because of its progressively wider waist widths. Surprisingly enough, even though it has a lot of tech and a lot of stuff inside of it, it's actually pretty lightweight because of the topless style top sheet. It's a directional shape, as you see, but it still rides pretty dang good when you ride it switch. It does feature a centered style stance within the running length of the board, despite it having a 10mm taper. The nose is just a little bit wider, of course, and quite a bit longer of a nose because of the directional hybrid camber profile shape. It's a combination of mostly camber that provides great stability, great energy, and lots of high ollie pop, with rocker on the nose, which is quite a bit longer, and then just a little bit higher than what you find in the rear end. But again, like when you ride it switch, it doesn't really feel too much like a directional deck, despite it having a reverse progressive side cut radius. We'll kind of get to that in a little bit. But overall, the Superpig is a fun deck. It has lots of energy and it's fairly stiff. On the feel and flex rating, it sits about an 8, which is like pretty close to the end of the spectrum. And it does have a directional style flex, meaning the tail is going to feel stiffer, more stable at high speeds than what you'll find in that nose. Inside of this bad boy is a performance style wood core, which is a combination of 3 woods, strong aspen, lightweight paulownia, and reactive style bamboo that has a very unique style glass layup called carbon infused glass. So it's carbon at 0 and at 90 degrees interwoven with, I believe, a biax style glass. But there's a lot of other stuff within the Superpig that really make it stand out in terms of high performance. The first one, this is kind of the first deck within the lineup as we move up with the Carbon Array 5. There's a lot of other boards within Ride that feature Carbon Array 3. This one has additional carbon to it. Starting at each shoulder of the board, there's 5 strands of carbon that radiate across the deck through the inserts, or through the insert areas, through the deck, that allow the board to have a lot of reaction without making it too stiff in those areas and actually keeping it pretty lightweight. Another cool thing about the board is that it features a roll-in sidewall that gives the board extra strength in combination with a double impact plate that reduces crease areas caused by bindings. Now, with that roll-in sidewall is a slime wall, but this is an updated urethane sidewall that doesn't react differently in cold temperatures as it does in warm temperatures. But the difference between the carbon slime wall and the regular slime wall is that this carbon slime wall sidewall actually features carbon within the sidewall in the tail area. And that's one reason that the Superpig is a little bit stiffer, a little bit more reactive in this back end area than what you'll find in quite a few other decks, and specifically, of course, the regular Warpig. And then there's this thing. This is a base. This is the fastest base that Ride makes. Now, a lot of people may not know, Ride kind of falls within like the big corporation of K2 Sports, and this is the same base that you'll find in super high-end like race skis. You can't get a better base from Ride than this one. It has a stone ground base, has very deep structure, but you need to keep your eye on this thing. Keep it waxed up throughout the season because it'll ride the best if it's well moisturized and maintained. Now, the thing that really brought the regular Warpig to light is the reverse progressive side cut radius, kind of introduced to the industry from, as far as I know, by an engineer named Michael Chilton. And the cool part about reverse progressive side cut radiuses, or what Ride calls tapered bidirectional, is that there's a smaller side cut radius in the nose area and a larger one in the tail area. Again, you can correct me if I'm wrong, leave a comment or question. I know that there's race boards, like custom race boards that have some similar technology, but for the masses, I don't really think that there's been a model of a snowboard that has that progressive or reverse progressive sidecut radius. That means that the Superpig and the Warpig have a tendency to like dive into a turn really, really fast and can gradually mellow out. And that's what causes the boards to have a really fun feel. Now, with that though, when you do ride it switch, it's going to have a more mellow into a turn and then a very explosive snappy out, which is actually pretty cool. There, along with that is a 360 wrap standard steel edge, but that standard steel has been upgraded with 50% more steel and is actually called the cleaved edge, which makes it less likely to crack or break. Now, this is a pretty cool deck. Kind of throws it into the park category, the groomer category, and even the POW category. You can do a lot with a Superpig, but you have to really know what you're doing. You have to have a higher skill set than basically average. This is a fun deck. This is the Superpig. It's basically a Warpig on steroids. You can check it out, of course, at thehouse.com by selecting the link below in the description. Leave a comment or a question. Let me know what you think of this thing. There's a lot going on to it. Subscribe to the channel there. Check out more vids there. And hopefully I'll see you guys on snow. Peace.